Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Suguroi MotorCity TV. Today we are excited to speak on episode 7 on the genesis of an African motor city. This episode closes the loop on this beginning part of our journey, because with the culmination of this episode, then we will have introduced most of the key core team that is behind the vision and propelling the growth of the African motor city. Now, what is the importance of this episode? When the core team of myself, Kevin, Austin, and Geoffrey were conceptualizing the project and looking to see how we can bring it to fruition, we were keen in our appreciation that being of a younger generation and being in an ecosystem or in a country where motorsport already had some sort of a history, instead of reinventing the wheel and making mistakes that had been made in the past and recreating wisdom, that it would be very important to seek guidance, to seek collaboration, to seek wisdom from those who had already been in motorsport for many years before us, so that as we look to chart a vision going forward, we were properly guided by what had transpired in the past, what was the present that could easily inform what were the opportunities and the value creation that we could bring to the table for this part of the world for the future. We started in earnest in 2024 and beginning of 2025, looking for such individuals that we could call upon to hold our hands in this journey. And quite a few came to the fore. But I think what was the clincher for us, once we did a bit of homework and due diligence and looked at what was out there in the media and in the records, was that there was this gentleman who was really, really enthusiastic and passionate about the growth of grassroots motorsport, right? He was standing head and shoulders above everyone else with regards to his efforts in promotion of grassroots motorsport. And that was at the core of what we were looking to do. So we tried to get in touch with this gentleman, and to our surprise, he was very reachable, he was very approachable, and as they say, the rest is history. So this is a legend of motorsport, but being a legend of motorsport, we also want to demystify him because we have come to know him as a very ordinary individual, Kenyan, patriotic, that we can all identify with. So it is with great excitement that we are here to speak to the one and only Azar Anwar. Good morning, sir.
Oh, you've blown my mind already. Thank you so much, Modo, for a lovely introduction.
Fantastic.
I'm humbled and so happy to be here, so happy to be part of this team. Really looking forward to making things happen.
Fantastic. So, like I say, we have legends in this country, like yourself. We are looking to grow grassroots motorsport. There is a big gap where a lot of the ordinary people feel that these so-called legends and forefathers are not easy to approach and get guidance from in terms of motorsport going forward. There is this notion that they lived very privileged lives, and we want to try and demystify that. So I think, Azar, we want to start by understanding who was Azar Anwar as a child? What was his childhood like, and how did he come into motorsport?
Azar Anwar is as Kenyan as you can get. Born here, have children, grandchildren all here, parents born here. And don't really know our roots wherever on the Indian continent. So I have grown up, literally down to earth. Born in Nairobi, but did my primary school in Tanzania, Arusha.
Okay.
And ever since I can remember, the main thing I wanted to do and I was interested in was actually cars. And back then, much more than today, the Safari Rally was so huge, so huge, and it would take place over Easter. I mean, the whole tempo of the country would change. So, in my growing years, I spent a lot of time with my dad at the garage, at anything else he would do, and he was somebody very sort of adventurous. He even tried mining, he did farming, he did workshop, he did wood workshop, and so I got quite an exposure. And as young as I think about 9 or 10, I was driving tractors on the farm. My dad would sort of, when I think younger than that, sit me on his lap. As soon as we'd get off the tarmac and onto the farm road, I was in charge of the car. Very soon, he would shift gears for me initially. You remember back then there were no automatics; it was gears. Then I think by 10 I was driving the car myself, and he'd be sitting on the side guiding me. So I started very early with everything. I could. My memory is not that great, but my dad says at 14 I assembled my first engine.
Wow.
And I was always coming up with ideas. I don't know how, but he says I came up with the thing and made him make us a seesaw. And told him, like, make the metal like this and the bow like this and so on. Yeah. So we used to have a seesaw, and we were the envy of the children around. Yeah. So that's the sort of background I come from. Frankly, not well off. Okay. And but Dad was very encouraging of anything we wanted to do. There was an unfortunate incident in history that actually blocked me from getting into motorsport earlier. Okay. And that was my dad and his younger brother did the first Safari Rally. That was even before I was born. It was called the Coronation Safari Rally, 1953. By the way, I was born 1954. That makes me 71 already. Okay. And still very keen to keep racing and to keep promoting motorsport. So Dad and my uncle did the Safari Rally. They say they were doing quite well. Car number 38, a Peugeot 203. I have a photo somewhere. And they had an accident that sort of put them out a bit, quite way into the rally. They'd gone quite far. And those days, the rally was like day and night across East Africa, long distances. Yeah. And my uncle used to race motorbikes. At that time, it was called Langa Langa. And he was one of the top competitors. So our home used to be like a center for the enthusiasts together in Pangani, Nairobi. Okay. Unfortunately, in an practice accident, a child wandered onto the track. And in trying to avoid him, my uncle hit the barrier. And unfortunately, again, he was a very tough guy. He would have survived. He broke his legs, but there was a mistake in the hospital that put him off. And that really destroyed my dad's kind of stability, and he didn't want me to talk about motorsport at all. Yeah. It was fine, farms, driving, working on technical things and so on. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time with Dad doing that. Even when we moved back to Kenya, I just finished my primary. We moved to Nakuru. So again, it was a very farm sort of environment. Again, workshop. Again, Dad used to do contract plowing and things like that. Even farming, and I'd always be with him. Like my friends would be doing other things on weekends, holidays, and so on, but I would be on the farm with him. I've slept in Maasai huts. We were doing contract plowing in virgin land, far back. And I've slept on the road when we'd get stuck, trying to come back to Nakuru from Mount Narok and all those. So it's like I really grew up on the ground. I have done, plowing, planting, harvesting myself.
Yeah.
I've carried gunias and put them on a stack, which, people around used to be, wait, ana pandisha gunia kwa stack. That kind of. So it was a very strong foundation
Yep.
for actually getting into motorsport.
Yep.
I had all the knowledge,
Okay.
both the technical as well as. So as soon as I could,
Yeah.
which is like when I started working, of course, all coming through was everything to do with motorsport. Like I wanted to look for a motorsport engineering course when I got to university level. The only thing available, and of course, family couldn't afford to send me overseas, was engineering.
Yeah.
So I did engineering, Nairobi University, graduated in '76,
Okay.
and I did mechanical engineering just so that I could do motorsport. Everything was geared around motorsport. When it was time to get married,
Yeah.
it was an arranged marriage,
Okay.
surprising,
Okay.
and we're still going strong. 42 years down the road. The only question I gave my mom, I said, look, please tell them.
Yeah.
Everything else we can negotiate.
Yeah.
Motorsport, no.
Yeah.
So, it was like my wife had to put up with motorsport. But to give fair credit,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gotten the achievements that I have, and neither of our children,
Yep.
if it wasn't for her. She was our anchor, our foundation, our rock of strength, and everything. So all through, I got a lot of good results.
Yep.
It was because she was there in the background and supportive. I mean, she was like the darling of the service parks when I was rallying.
Yeah.
She'd be working all night, putting together scrumptious food, and literally all the media, the officials, and our friends knew that go to Azar's tent
Yeah.
if you need some refreshment.
Yeah.
And they all missed her when she stopped coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have 4 children.
Okay.
The eldest is Shaza. He's now 42.
Okay.
He's 8-time Kenya cross-country champion on quad bike.
Wow.
The next one is Sana.
Yep.
She's done all sorts of things. She's also sporty, but also like into other things like acting. And she was, I think, the coordinator of the squash championships in Kenya a few years ago.
Okay.
She's done modeling. She's done. She's now a mother of 2.
Okay.
So her eldest son, 5, is my our eldest grandson. Me and my wife's name is Tabassum.
Yep. Yep.
The next one is the only Kenyan who has represented Kenya in archery in the Olympics. Shazana is gold medalist Africa.
Yep.
Back in 2016, she made it to Rio
Okay.
as the Africa champion
Wow.
in archery.
Yeah.
She's trying really, really hard to make archery grow since then here locally.
Okay.
Even yesterday, they were having a training session at Strathmore.
Yep.
And by the way, along the way, Tabassum was so supportive that she got drawn completely into archery. Tabassum is on the committee of the Africa archery group.
Okay.
She's the coach and team manager for the Kenya archery team.
Okay.
Recently, they were in Abidjan for the Africa Championships.
Okay.
Few months ago, Tabassum was in Korea for the World Archery Congress.
Okay.
So really busy. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
Superwoman.
Yeah. Only ladies can do that.
Only
That
she really laughs at me.
testify to
She
that,
says
yeah.
you're like one track.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't think of something,
Yeah.
and she's doing 10 things at a time
Yeah. Yeah.
and doing them well.
Yeah.
So the youngest,
Yeah.
who's now on his shining.
Yeah.
He really shocked everybody last year because all he could afford to race with was a quad bike. And so he managed to convince the Autocross and the Autocross Plus championships to let him ride a quad bike against the cars and everybody. And he was even beating Evo 10 rally cars on a quad bike. So he did really well. And he's also doing something really, really dangerous. We're hoping he gives it up soon. Is called enduro cycling, which is literally blind downhill. Very special bicycles. He's been 3 times, I think, East Africa champion on the downhill races. And it's amazing, the reflexes and the fitness and whatever is at another level. Yeah. So whatever he wants to do, he has that thing of just getting to the top, just that focus of getting to the top. So I hope going forward we can provide him an opportunity, because his dream is to go to the Dakar. The Dakar is probably the world's toughest, by far the toughest motorsport challenge. It is just unbelievable. Every day of the Dakar, and it's 12 days of racing, is like the old safari of ours of 5 days. You know, the mileage, the tough, the terrain you have to cover and everything. Yet he's dreaming of going to do that. It's so tough that you can't even enter unless you have qualified in other similar events. You know, and there's few selected ones that are like, let's say, 1/3 the size of Dakar. So it will be a big step if we can get him there.
Wow, fantastic.
So now coming to motorsport, I realized then that motorsport is a very closed society, kind of an elitist society, and I wasn't part of it. So it was a real struggle for me. And then I didn't have the resources. That was another struggle for me. But you know, if I grew up and all I wanted to do was that, I had that dream that I will be a works driver, you know, internationally. I wasn't even looking at Kenya. And so it was just day and night building whatever old tatty old machine I could get and go racing with any little penny we could get. I mean, my first safari rally in 1981, we drove on retread tires the whole safari. And we finished our first safari. At that time, just to finish the safari, people were saying it's like going to the moon. You know, to be counted a finisher. The first safari finished, won our class, won the organizers award, won I don't know how many other awards. People were like, you're going away with more than the overall winner at the prize giving. So that's the sort of things that happened along the way. When I just started in 1978, I was already Kenya Motorsports Club champion. Like club level, I was already winning. And then it was because of that hardship I came through and that commitment and whatever, I just kept going. And once I started succeeding, I'm like looking around and saying, I'm meeting so many people, young Kenyans, who are so enthusiastic about this, and yet there's no room for them to even come in. There's no opening. So I started working behind the scenes on changing that. And it was very political. And I'm not a good politician. I'm not a good people's person. So it was a lot of hard work. The first thing I managed to do, and I'm proud of it, at that time Kenya Motorsports Federation didn't exist. It was AA of Kenya that was in charge of motorsport back in 1995. I managed to convince the committee to start a new championship. Yeah. And that championship was aimed at bringing in new people, but that wasn't the language I was giving them. What we said is it's going to be a 2-wheel drive, normally aspirated cars, meaning simple, cheap cars, championship. And then I started talking to all the people I knew and whatever, people interested, and said, you know, this normal car of yours can come and rally, and you can do it like this, the roll bar and whatever. At that time, you could go with an almost standard car and you could go and rally, even in the safari rally. And it became a hit. In a few years, we had more than 20 entries just of 2-wheel drive cars doing the whole championship. And they became so competitive with each other that the top 2-wheel drives were beating some of the established 4-wheel drive cars. But it took a lot of effort. The effort is even behind the scenes, like convincing the organizer, you know, to adapt the rally to have these cars. run, to talk to the media and explain to them that this is a championship. There's a separate championship. So there may be a Kenya champion, but there's also a two-wheel drive champion. So unknown names started becoming known. People who were enthusiasts, local Kenyans, started getting to be recognized. So before that, the scenario was winner takes all. So it would invariably be, the elite and known names. So it was difficult even for people like me to come up. So although I would excel in my group, my class, it wasn't much recognized. And the same was hitting a lot of other people. So new people would come in and they would enjoy the first one or two finishes, but then they'd realize nobody's even paying attention to us. There's no chance of us growing. There's no chance of us getting sponsorship and so on. What was needed was the media to change their attitude, to recognize across the board that we need to encourage the enthusiasts. We need to support them. We need to give them recognition that sponsors will be ready to support them. And then we will be able to get new champions. It will not be just the small. So little by little it grew. So the next break I did was I said, okay, now we need other championships that people will recognize that even this championship, it was hard fought, and this is a worthy national champion. And my dream was always to base it on cost, because obviously, there were the elite few who could spend just millions, and we would be competing against them in the same class, but with a car worth like 1/5 or 1/10 the value. Yeah. And the budget, value of the car is related to the running cost. A more expensive car, much more running cost. Yeah. So it was very simple. And of course, none of this I thought out myself. It's stuff that's happening in the world. It's where motorsport is successful in the rest of the world, how it is successful. So I was just emulating that thought and trying to incorporate it locally. But the resistance was unbelievable to anything I would come up with. Surprisingly, although they wouldn't say it to my face, the people who were most against my proposal of having, imagine a championship that this car is worth 500,000, a national championship of 500,000 worth cars. It would send a message to the public that it's accessible to anyone, and you can become a champion in that category. And then another class, you can always, of course, have at the top a class that is on its own. Yeah. So it wasn't accepted. And the biggest negatives were the competitors, because those who were already in felt themselves as the elite, and they shot it down.
So tell me, based on that line of thinking, what would you say are the opportunities going forward? Because we are where we are today. Even Kenyans as a country are eternally hopeful about a brighter future than where we may have been coming from, and any challenges that may have been coming our way. So what do you see as the future?
I've seen enough challenges and I haven't given up yet.
Okay.
That's why I'm here. So what I didn't give up on that one.
Right.
So the same thing, I had talked to hundreds of people, media, organizers, whatever.
Yeah.
I just adjusted the scenario a little bit to something they would accept.
Okay.
Which was divisions.
Right.
Driver divisions. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had a Division 1,
Yeah.
Division 2, Division 3, and then two-wheel drive.
Yeah.
4 championships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It did so well.
Yeah.
Our entries grew to over 80 in the entries in the national and in the Safari Rally local entries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why? Simply because, and again, that needed a lot of background work with the media and with organizers and so on to understand the divisions and to recognize them.
Right.
So in the divisions, what happened is like somebody would finish, let's say 20th, and as usual, they probably wouldn't even be called up to get a prize. Now suddenly those people who are being called up, that you're second in Division 3, you're first in Division 3, you're third. I made sure that first, second and third were always getting an award.
Okay.
So they wouldn't miss rallies.
Yeah.
And others would like, if that guy can do it, I can do it. So that's how it grew.
Okay. Now, with Suguroi MotorCity, we are looking to come to add value to the public with relation to motorsport and the automotive sector. What kind of value addition do you think we can do in terms of positive contribution towards the public?
So the thing that attracted me to you and to Suguroi is very simply the dream that I've always had of making motorsport huge locally and in the region. I mean, when I say huge, we'll come to the numbers a bit later. It's mind-boggling. Yeah. So in all the struggle that I have done, I have approached governments, I've approached KMSF, I've approached clubs, said, look, we are doing this thing, we're literally scratching the surface, we need to make motorsport huge. And along the way, I have come across Kenyans, not one, many of them. I've nurtured them. Many have become champions. I mean, their commitment and their output is just unbelievable. So we have the resources, we have the interest, we have everything we need to make motorsport huge. Yeah, and why aren't we doing it? So in Suguroi, I saw that here are people who are forward-thinking, who will understand the sort of vision I'm coming with, and we can work together with and make it happen. So it is as simple as that. I'm looking forward to working with our team with that focus that we are going to make motorsport huge. And huge means not only just in Suguroi. Yeah? We cannot just be something like this and disconnected from the rest. Huge means in the region. So we have to start doing things that are going to attract not a few, but in their thousands, new people to revive their interest in motorsport, enthusiasts and so on. And it's not that complicated. It's not that if that's what's going on in the rest of the world. Yeah. By having a fixed place, like if you look around, most of the motorsport activities and the clubs are kind of transitional. So in Suguroi, we will have like a permanent motorsport center. So that gives us the opportunity to think big, to think far, and to work towards that. And that's where we are at. We are at the beginning, and I see just big things happening going forward.
Fantastic. In closing, what few words do you have for someone watching this who is interested in motorsport, does not know where to begin, feels like they are not connected, well connected? What words would you have for them?
Keep a lookout for what we are doing. Follow us, and the opportunities will come to you. We want anyone interested, we want to be able to encourage them to join, to come in. And by the way, we are not talking only of a driver or a navigator. In training, I have trained the managers, the mechanics, the team, the logistics, the media people that follow the team, and it's a huge group that is behind every entry in the rally. It's a large team. Initially, it is just family and friends, and then it gets more and more professional. I've actually encouraged people to come with their family and friends when they come for training, because then that becomes a support circle around them. And going forward, that is what we're going to do. Yes, because it has worked. I've done it for years and years, but I've not done it as big as what we're going to do now.
Thank you so much, Azar. And I'd like to also say thank you, a big thank you from the core team at Motorcity Development Limited for you taking a leap of faith for you being approachable, for you giving us the time of day and listening to our concept. Because you see, there are a lot of people who have a lot of visions, but are not given the time of day to even express them, right? So would like to extend a hand of gratitude for that as a beginning. We are confident that we will justify the faith that you have in us, and that together with the wider society, bring up motorsport and the automotive sector to where it should be in terms of a huge economic contributor, in terms of a paradigm shift in how people live their lives in this region of the world. Asante sana.
Thank you for having me.